Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors are 6-5 this season, and Jonathan Kuminga has been having great games and helping the team both offensively and defensively. But even so, the Warriors are interested in trading the player in 2026. Kuminga is doing well this season, but he has been inconsistent in recent games, and coach Steve Kerr is already thinking about removing him from the starting lineup as soon as all injured players are available. Kuminga will be traded next year. And the Chicago Bulls and Sacramento Kings teams continue to have an interest in Jonathan Kuminga. Warriors rightfully benched Jonathan Kuminga over the final 18 minutes. Kuminga was active on the glass with 8 rebounds, yet he had just 5 points on 1 of 9 shooting when he was removed from the game with 5:53 left in the third quarter. The former 7th overall pick wasn't to be seen again, with Kerr preferring fellow youngsters in Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody and Will Richard among others. After everything that happened in the offseason with his free agency, and the focus that remains on him as a potential trade candidate once eligible from January 15, there will be increased scrutiny whenever Kuminga is benched by Kerr for a prolonged period. But was Sunday's second half that noteworthy? Was it a harsh call based on how important Kuminga's been for Golden State so far this season? Yes. But was it a necessary one based on how he was playing? Sure. Was it the right move? Absolutely. The Warriors outscored the Pacers by 30 once Kuminga left the floor, running away with a 114-83 victory that belied how uncomfortably close it was until the very end of the third period. The second half benching only becomes noteworthy if it filters into Tuesday's blockbuster matchup with the reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder. We're less than 2 weeks removed from Kerr stating that Kuminga will be a starter going forward, so will that change so quickly after a pair of poor performances? Do Golden State need to go back to Moses Moody as a primary option to guard MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not to mention the extra spacing likely needed against an elite defense? Perhaps Kuminga deserves some leniency in the adjustment he's had to make over the past few games. Through the first 8 outings of the season, he played 222 minutes with Stephen Curry alongside him. Even with the 2x MVP sidelined across the last 3 games, that remains the most used duo the Warriors have gone to this season. Kuminga was just figuring out how to play with Curry effectively, highlighted by a 4-1 start to the season where Kuminga was featuring prominently. Maybe asking him to adjust without Curry was harder than we give credit for when he was playing almost all his minutes with the 37-year-old superstar. We'll wait and see what happens from here, but there's little doubt Kuminga needs a quick response to reassure fans that his first 7 or 8 games were no flash in the pan. Steve Kerr puts 3 young Warriors players on notice after poor performance. These 3 players have to step it up. The Golden State Warriors had a very lackluster performance against the Denver Nuggets on Friday night, having lost 129-104, which prompted head coach Steve Kerr to put 3 young players on notice for their effort during the game. Warriors beat writer Danny Merman reported after the game that Kerr said, "There has to be some fire in the belly," in reference to Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski when there is a poor showing like that. Steve Kerr and the Warriors need more from the young players. This is a subtle but pointed notice to those players that there needs to be more energy and a higher level of play from them going forward. All 3 have shown flashes of brilliance this year, but none of them played well against Denver when they really needed them to step up, with star point guard Stephen Curry out with an illness. Kuminga scored just 6 points on the night, Moody scored 2, and Podziemski scored 7. That is just not going to cut it against a great team like the Nuggets. There have been times this season when this separate timeline approach has seemed to work wonderfully. The veteran players have performed well, and the younger guard would come in off the bench and pick up right where they left off, sometimes even giving the veterans invaluable time to rest and be managed. But games like the one in Denver are a reminder that this approach has not worked as consistently as one would like. One can envision a future Warriors team being led by Kuminga, Podziemski, and Moody, but at this point that sort of team seems like it would be far too consistent to be a true contender. That is getting ahead of things, though. Thinking about this season, Kerr is right that the young guys need more fire and energy going forward. They have to take that loss against Denver hard and really dig deep within themselves to find that extra level, especially with the tough stretch that is coming up for the Warriors. After Sunday's game against Indiana, the Warriors will be on the road for 6 straight. Surely, Kerr is going to be careful with his star veterans during that stretch, which means he may lean on those younger guys even more. They are going to have to step up, or Kerr may be forced to rely more on other players like rookie Will Richard, who has shown he will take advantage of whatever minutes he's given. It is early in the season, but perhaps this subtle call-out from Kerr is what these players need to really ignite their game going forward. Warriors' Will Richard draws high praise from Jimmy Butler and Al Horford as rookie shines and Pacers win. The Golden State Warriors have had a hard time mustering up energy and effort at a consistent level through the early portion of this season. It's what Draymond Green pointed to when the defense failed to stop the Denver Nuggets, and it's what Steve Kerr has emphasized needing more of, especially in winnable games. But if there's one guy who hasn't had a problem with that, it's been second-round rookie Will Richard. In the Warriors' 114-83 win over the Indiana Pacers, a game that looked dicier than the 31-point difference indicates, Richard came off the bench to give the Dubs 15 points on 4 of 8 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, and a +19 ± in 19 minutes. Golden State couldn't find separation from the undermanned and depleted Pacers coming off a back-to-back. But Richard's stretch at the start of the fourth quarter gave Golden State a good combination of defense, IQ, and hustle, helping the team to a game-deciding 21-11 run. After the game, veteran center Al Horford, who was also a big part of the run to knock off the feisty Pacers, talked about the energy Richard brings when he gets into the game. It's amazing because he'll go from not playing or not having any stretch. And then when he comes in, he's ready, Horford said. He's cutting, he's hitting threes, he's getting on the break, he's defending, he does a little bit of everything. I've been very impressed with his maturity and how he's been able to handle all the tasks that we throw at him because it's very unpredictable. Over the last 3 games, the shooting guard from Florida has averaged 19.0 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.0 assists on 40% from distance. In his post-game presser, Richard talked about the pride he takes in making an impact whenever he checks in. How Will Richard has climbed into Steve Kerr's rotation. It's hard for a second-round rookie to make headway into a contending team's rotation, especially in a system as complex and intricate as Steve Kerr's. But Richard's been more than up to the task, understanding his role and operating seamlessly and intuitively next to Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Early on in camp, you could see he really knew how to play. He's constantly making the right cut, the right pass, he's solid, Kerr explained. His fundamentals are fantastic, you can see all the experience he's had in big games. He's a ball player, and we're excited to have him. He's going to contribute quite a bit for us this year. A big part of why Richards picked up the Warriors system so quickly is his experience at Florida. Richard spent 4 years in college, his freshman year at Belmont, and the rest helping the Gators contend in March. Richard played a huge part of Florida's national championship run just months before joining the Warriors. Those are the big games, the high-leverage situations, Kerr points to whenever he's asked why Richard's come along so fast. But for Butler, he cited the 22-year-old's curiosity and IQ as to why he's been able to make an impact for the Warriors. He's hella smart, Butler said. But the thing I love most about Will is his ability to listen. You tell him what to do to the best of his ability, he's going to do it. Whether it's on offense or it's on defense. It's really hard to try to please everybody. Because you could be told 5 things from 5 different people. And he's the type of human being that's going to try to do all 5 of those things everybody is telling him. They could totally contradict each other. But he's a hella-fi listener, and whatever you tell him to do, he understands it's to win. So he's going to do it, and he just looks incredible. As Kerr said, Richard has climbed his way into the Warriors' rotation moving forward. But how many minutes he'll get on a night-to-night basis will depend on the matchup. While he's already leapfrogged Gary Payton II and Gue Santos in the pecking order to a degree, The Warriors are a team that changes its rotation depending on the matchup. Kerr's gone on the record about how Peyton plays better when Curry's on the floor, so with the two-time MVP returning to the fold, things could change. And things will definitely get interesting once DeAnthony Melton fully recovers from ACL surgery. Will Kerr lean on the veteran Melton's experience, or will he continue to ride the hot hand with the ascending Richard? For as impressive as Richard has looked, he's still a rookie. He'll have a couple of moments here and there where his youth shows. In important games, it's far more likely Kerr trusts a guy like Melton, who's been in playoff games. Regardless, it's clear Richard's an NBA-caliber player. That's already far and above what they were expecting of him as a second-rounder. I'm just impressed with how quick he's picking everything up. How used to he's getting playing in the NBA, Horford continued. Because it's not an easy transition. And to be a part of a team that's a veteran team, he's coming in and finding his way. It's not that simple, you know? If you're on a bad team and doing those things, it's kind of expected. To be on a contending team like us and doing what he's doing, that's impressive. As Horford and Butler gushed about, Richard's IQ and curiosity will take him far in this league moving forward. Warriors' Al Horford looked broken, but here's how Jimmy Butler just saved him. Golden State Warriors forward Jimmy Butler set out to end Al Horford's cold streak in Sunday's 114-83 blowout win against the Indiana Pacers. In one of his better games of the season, Horford finished with 12 points on 4 threes, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks off the bench. After the win, Horford highlighted Butler's approach of looking for Al when he was open, which led to him finishing the night 4 for 6 from deep in the Warriors' win against the Pacers, he said, per The Athletic's Anthony Slater. Jimmy right away made it a clear point to look for me, Horford said. He had those a few times. He had layups, and he's looking out to kick it out, and encouraging me to shoot the ball. The passes are there. They're on the money. I credit a lot of that to him for getting me going, offensively. On the defensive end, I just try to have more energy and be more active, and just kind of figure that out. Butler revealed his intent to get the ball to Horford was very much intentional. Very purposeful, Butler said. As great as the screens he sets for me are, protecting everybody at the rim, making all the right plays, it's only right whenever he's open, he gets the ball, every single time, for sure, from me. And I'll tell him, when I got the ball at the top, I'll jump over and skip it to you every single time in the corner. So, just be ready to shoot it. Butler's 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists led the Warriors to a 31-point victory. Warriors cut ties with 33-year-old two-time All-Star via G League trade. While it's no secret that the Golden State Warriors' 2025-26 roster is set, there's no shame in competing with the franchise's G League affiliate, the Santa Cruz Warriors. With consistent high-level performances, certain assets could land two-way/standard NBA deals and give their respective careers a much-needed boost. Thinks the 2016-17 Warriors are the best team of all time. Unfortunately for a 33-year-old two-time All-Star, there won't be an opportunity for him to move up within the Warriors organization, as Santa Cruz recently traded him to the Wisconsin Herd, the Milwaukee Bucks G League affiliate. The Wisconsin Herd, NBA G League affiliate of the Milwaukee Bucks, has acquired the returning player rights to Victor Oladipo and a second-round pick in the 2026 NBA G League draft from the Santa Cruz Warriors in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2027 NBA G League draft, the G League stated Sunday. Oladipo was once a dynamic shooting guard with jaw-dropping athleticism and blazing end-to-end speed. The former number 2 overall pick exhibited promise with the Orlando Magic and Oklahoma City Thunder to begin his career, but reached new heights after joining the Indiana Pacers in 2017. In addition to earning 2 All-Star nods, an All-Defensive first-team selection, and an All-NBA third-team selection with the Pacers, Oladipo also helped the organization punch its ticket to the postseason twice during his 3.5-year stint. Unfortunately, injuries have prevented the 2018 Steals leader from continuing on an upward trajectory, as he's dealt with several significant lower body injuries that have negatively impacted his production. Oladipo hasn't competed in the big leagues since the 2022-23 campaign, but is clearly eager to make a return by any means necessary. The only thing is, the Warriors will no longer be a part of the Silver Spring, Maryland native's NBA comeback story.